Good evening. You're with us on DD India. Welcome to Express News, where we update you with the top 100 news of the day from across the country and the world in a quick, succinct manner. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let us start. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on achieving the milestone of 100 crore vaccinations. Addressing the nation, the Prime Minister lauded the difficult but remarkable feat of administering 100 crore vaccine doses. The Prime Minister said that 100 crore vaccinations is not merely a figure, rather it is the creation of a new chapter of history. The Prime Minister added that many questioned India on how the country would deal with the pandemic. The Prime Minister stressed that 100 crore vaccination mark is an answer to all the apprehensions and doubts. The Prime Minister also said that during the pandemic, the agriculture sector kept our economy strong and the government procurement of food grains happening at a record level, with the money going directly into the bank accounts of farmers. Underlining the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas, the Prime Minister said that India's vaccine campaign reached new heights and achieved new milestones by making public participation as the first line of defense in the country's fight against the pandemic. The Prime Minister said that it is a matter of pride that the entire nationwide vaccination program has been science-born, science-driven and science-based. He said that before the COVID-19 vaccine was even made and until the vaccine was administered, the entire campaign was based on a scientific approach. The Prime Minister said that experts and many agencies from home and abroad are very positive about India's economic resurgence. The Prime Minister added that record investment and new employment opportunities will play a big role in making Indian economy grow faster. Focusing on the Vocal for Local campaign, the Prime Minister urged citizens to buy Made in India products. He also extended Diwali festival greetings to all. Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates, in his article in the Times of India titled 5 Steps to 1 Billion Doses, wrote that he was impressed by India's ability to address extremely difficult health challenges at the scale of a subcontinent with over 1.4 billion people. He further wrote that India has proven to be an example in how strong leadership and consistent investments in health and R&D can make a difference. During the ongoing visit of the First Sea Lord and Navy Chief of the United Kingdom, Admiral Tony Radakin, to India, extensive talks were held today between the visiting British Navy Chief and the Indian Navy Chief, Admiral Karambir Singh. The UK Navy Chief also visited the National War Memorial to pay homage to the war heroes. The first Tri-Services exercise is presently underway between the three services of India and the UK. The Army exercise, featuring the Gorkha Regiment of the Indian Army and the UK's Fusilier Regiment, is being held in Chaubatiya in Uttarakhand. The Navy exercise is being held in the Arabian Sea till the 27th of October. On the last day of his 3-day Bihar visit, President Ramnath Kovind visited the Patna Sahib Gurudwara and the Mahavir Temple, where he offered prayers for the welfare of humankind. President Ramnath Kovind and the First Lady Savita Kovind visited the Bihar Khadi Gramodyog Bhavan in Patna. They paid homage to Bapu's statue and even spun the 8th spindle charkha at the Khadi Mall there. Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri flagged off and handed over 5 ambulances as a part of the CSR initiative of HUDCO to 2 Delhi hospitals. 3 of these ambulances were handed over to the Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital and 2 were given to the Safdarjung Hospital. Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed the graduating students at the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade (IIFT). The minister said that Indian business institutions are contributing in the changing environment of the world. He said that even in the COVID pandemic, India set an example to the world. Union Minister for Minority Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi chaired the Hajj review meeting in New Delhi today. Naqvi said that selection process of Hajj pilgrims will be done according to the complete vaccination status, with both doses being administered. Other guidelines and criteria to be decided by the Indian and Saudi Arabia governments, keeping in view corona protocols during the time of Hajj 2022. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Singh Thakur informed that for the first time ever, IFFI has invited major OTT players to participate at the 52nd International Film Festival of India, IFFI, in Goa. Anurag Singh Thakur also announced that for the first time ever, films from 5 BRICS nations will be showcased through the BRICS Film Festival alongside IFFI. Anurag Thakur also announced that Istvan Szabo and Martin Scorsese will be conferred the Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award at the 52nd IFFI. Istvan Szabo is one of the most critically acclaimed Hungarian film directors of the past few decades, known for masterpieces like Mephisto Father. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed the inaugural session of the Indian Air Force National Conclave in Bengaluru. The Defence Minister said that the 1971 war is one of the few wars in history that was not fought to acquire territory or grab power, while the main objective was to protect the dignity of humanity and democracy. Bollywood actor Ananya Pandey appeared before the NCB for the second day of questioning in the ongoing drug bust case. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami today met the families of 2 people who went missing in the landslide in the Dungri village of Chamoli district. The Chief Minister asked officials to speed up relief and rescue efforts in the affected areas. On to business news now. The 30-share Sensex declined by 102 points on Friday to end at 60,822. The Nifty 50 index slipped 63 points to end at 18,150. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold prices were up 310 rupees to end at 47,714 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices, on the other hand, strengthened by 612 rupees at 65,625 rupees per kilo on Friday. The Indian rupee slipped 3 paise to close at 74 rupees 90 paise against the dollar. Crude prices were up 79 rupees or 1.3% to end at 6,221 rupees per barrel. Fuel prices were hiked again for the 3rd consecutive day on Friday. Petrol prices were hiked by 35 paise to 106 rupees 89 paise per litre in Delhi. Similarly, diesel prices were also hiked by 35 paise per litre. Diesel is being sold at 95 rupees 62 paise per litre in the national capital. Capital Markets Regulator SEBI has asked investment advisors to refrain from dealing in digital gold, which is an unregulated product. This came after SEBI noted that some registered investment advisors are engaged in unregulated activity by providing a platform for buying, selling or dealing in unregulated products, including digital gold. The Centre, in consultation with the RBI, has decided to issue 4 tranches of sovereign gold bonds from October this year to March next year. The RBI, in a statement, said that the subscription for the next tranche can be done between October 25th to October 29th. With the administration of 61,27,277 vaccine doses in the last 24 hours, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has reached 100 crore 59 lakh as per provisional reports till 7 this morning. Over 104.5 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and UTs so far, while over 11 crore 65 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs yet to be administered. India reported a total of 15,786 new cases in the last 24 hours. A total of 18,641 recoveries were reported in the last 24 hours. A total of 3 crore 35 lakh 14,449 recoveries have been reported. India's recovery rate, currently at 98.16%, is the highest since March last year. Active cases account for less than 1% of total cases, currently at 0.51%. It is the lowest since March last year. India's active caseload stands at 1,75,745. It is the lowest in 232 days. Weekly positivity rate at 1.31% is less than 3% for the last 119 days now. Daily positivity rate at 1.19% is less than 3% for the last 53 days now. A total of 59 crore 70 lakh cumulative COVID-19 tests have been conducted so far. The world too continues to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. So far, over 24 crore 33 lakh 25,000 cases have been reported globally, while global recoveries stand above 22 crore 5 lakh and 3,000. The deadly virus has claimed over 49 lakh 46,000 lives globally. The United States of America remains to be the worst affected nation by the pandemic. The country has reported over 4 crore 61 lakh 74,000 cases, while death toll in America has surpassed 7 lakh 53,000. In the United States, a panel of advisors to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention authorized the booster shots of COVID-19 vaccine of Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration also backed the use of different booster vaccines and said that Americans can choose a different shot from their original inoculation. For those who received their second dose of Moderna's vaccine at least 6 months earlier, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, ACIP, recommended a third shot for those aged 65 and above, or individuals at risk or with severe illness, and those at risk of exposure to the virus through their jobs. The World Health Organization, WHO, has called on the world's 20 richest countries to step up donations of COVID-19 vaccines to the global south. WHO's Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that the G20 countries must fulfill their dose-sharing commitments immediately. Gordon Brown, WHO Ambassador for Global Health Financing, informed that there is still a shortfall of 500 million vaccines to reach WHO's 40% vaccination target in all countries by mid-2022, while 240 million doses are lying unused with the West. Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that despite the high number of infections, the country will stick to its current plan to manage the pandemic. Johnson's government has said that it is relying on vaccinations, including booster shots for the vulnerable, to avoid winter lockdowns. COVID-19 pandemic continues to hit new records in Russia, but has already announced a nationwide week-long shutdown of workplaces from October 28th in a bid to tackle the spiraling cases in the country. Russia registered record COVID-19 deaths and cases on Thursday as well. Canada's federal government and 10 provinces have agreed on a standard COVID-19 electronic or e-vaccination passport, allowing domestic and foreign travel. The deal for vaccination passports prevents possible confusion that could be caused if each of the provinces issued their own unique certificate. Pakistan will remain on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force, FATF. Global terror financing watchdog FATF retained Pakistan on its grey list of countries. 3 new countries, Turkey, Jordan and Mali, have also been added to the grey list. Tehran and Ankara signed a memorandum of understanding to boost cooperation on security issues, underlining their determination to develop strategic ties and jointly fighting terrorism and trafficking. European leaders gathered for a summit in Brussels, which may prove to be German Chancellor Angela Merkel's last, with tensions simmering between Poland and the bloc's liberal majority. Meanwhile, NATO's defense ministers discussed matters ranging from the alliance's Russia policy to its technological innovation investment during a meeting in Brussels on Thursday. In Haiti, protesters blocked the streets of Port-au-Prince with rocks and tree branches and burnt tires to protest the widespread fuel shortages there. Haitian truckers had initially planned a strike to protest the shortages, but Thursday's demonstrations were largely led by motorcycle drivers angry that they could not work for lack of fuel. Jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny on Thursday dedicated a European Parliament Human Rights Prize he won a day earlier to anti-corruption fighters around the world. The European Parliament awarded Navalny the prize named after Soviet dissident Andrei Sakharov for his efforts in fighting corruption in Russia, a decision the Kremlin said could not be forced to respect. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern paused briefly as an earthquake rattled the capital, Wellington. Ardern was addressing the nation in a coronavirus briefing when the earthquake struck. Wellington and nearby areas were shaken by a 5.9 magnitude earthquake. There were no reports of damage or injuries so far. In Nepal, as many as 101 people have lost their lives after post-monsoon downpour brought flash floods and landslide in the Himalayan nation. The government said that at least 41 people are still missing after the disaster struck over the week. More than 250,000 homes in France were without electricity after gale-force winds swept the north of the country overnight. Power grid operator Enedis said rail traffic was also affected by storm Aurore, which has been causing devastation. The United Nations has said that more than 700,000 people have been displaced by the worst floods to hit South Sudan in decades. At least 40 people have died across the country as heavy rains and flash floods destroyed livestock, farmlands and homes. The floods have mainly affected 4 states there. And Barbados has elected its first ever president to replace Britain's Queen Elizabeth as the head of the state in a decisive step towards shedding the Caribbean island's colonial past. Sandra Mason was elected late on Wednesday by a 2/3 vote of a joint session of the country's House of Assembly and Senate, a milestone the government said in a statement on its road to republic. Hundreds of school children stormed the Democratic Republic of Congo's parliament on Thursday amid a strike by school teachers over unresolved issues related to the rollout of government's free primary education program. Libya's Prime Minister and several foreign powers on Thursday endorsed the holding of a national election on December 24 as envisaged in a UN-backed peace plan aimed at resolving years of turmoil and division. Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Vikram Doraiswamy, has said that the larger tradition of India and Bangladesh has been of inclusion and humanity. Addressing a gathering of Hindu, Christian and Buddhist community, the High Commissioner said that the founding values of India and Bangladesh reflect the pluralistic spirit of South Asia, which must be defended at all costs. Meanwhile, the Bangladesh police have arrested the person suspected to have put the Holy Quran in a Durga Mandap in Kamila, which led to the widespread violence in the country between October 13th and 16th. Iqbal Hussain was identified earlier through CCTV footage by the police. The world's largest and highest Ferris wheel has been opened to the public in Dubai with a stunning fireworks show. Located on the Blue Waters Island, the Dubai Eye, known as Eye Dubai in Arabic, stands 250 meters tall. Asterix and the Griffin, the latest edition of the famous French comic series Asterix and Obelix, went on sale on bookshelves. At the Paris Montparnasse chain of French books retailer FNAC, mascots dressed as the 2 central Gallic characters can be seen standing and meeting with the visitors. FNAC said that the Asterix series represents a significant portion of their comic book sales and that most clients order them online and collect them in store. A private anonymous US collector bought the fossilized remains of Big John, the largest Triceratops dinosaur ever discovered by paleontologists, for 6.65 million euros at a Paris auction. Big John, named after the owner of the land where the dinosaur's bones were found, roamed modern-day South Dakota more than 66 million years ago. The ice rink at London's Natural History Museum is returning for one more festive season as its time at the iconic venue comes to end after 16 years. From today onwards, skaters will be able to enjoy the ice against the backdrop of the museum and 30-feet Christmas tree, an activity which the organizing body said is a holiday tradition for many in the British capital. A newborn zebra made a public appearance at the Saint Paul Zoo located in Garcia, a municipality in the northern Mexican state of Nuevo Leon. The birth represents a growing hope for the conservation of the Grevy's zebra, which is the most threatened of the 3 species of zebra. Born to father Poncho and mother Estrella only 10 days ago, the so far unnamed baby weighs approximately 10 to 15 kilos and is approximately 50 centimeters tall. The Scream, arguably the most iconic image in art, is the centerpiece of a new museum dedicated to its creator, Edvard Munch, that opens in Oslo on Friday. But visitors won't know which of its many versions they will see until they arrive. The figure holding its head in a swirling red sunset was inspired by a stay in Berlin in 1892 when the Norwegian was a leading light of the symbolist movement. Between 1893 and 1910, Munch painted the Scream many times using different techniques. The Waterfront Museum will have access to 3 of those canvases, but show only one at a time as they are very fragile. Archaeologists found 4 burial sites belonging to an ancient civilization dating from 400 to 200 BC in Peru. These tombs are the first sites found in Lambayeque Valley related to the Wari culture. In the tombs, archaeologists also found different objects such as a pitcher with Mochica iconography, a bottle belonging to the Saikan culture, a decorated pot, and a ceremonial Tumi knife in the shape of a half moon. On to sports action now. In today's T20 World Cup group stage match between Ireland and Namibia, Namibia beat Ireland with 8 wickets. In badminton, PV Sindhu and Sameer Verma kept the Indian challenge alive at the Victor Denmark Open BWF World Tour Super 1000 tournament in Odense. Number 2 seed Diego Schwartzman ousted Andy Murray to reach the quarterfinals of the European Open tennis. 7 seed Harris looked solid with a commanding 6-2, 6-3 win over Jean-Lena Struff. In women's tennis, world number 7 Maria Sakkari becomes the 5th singles player to secure her place at the WTA finals in Guadalajara, Mexico. With this, Maria Sakkari also made history by becoming the first Greek woman to qualify for the year-end finale. FIFA officials visited the Kansas City, Missouri in the US as part of the bid process to host some of the 2026 World Cup matches there. USA Rugby formally launched its bid to host the Men's Rugby World Cup in 2027 or in 2031 and the Women's Rugby World Cup in 2029. Swiss rider Sina Frey and Austria's Laura Stiger won their 5th consecutive stage in the Cape Epic Cycling Tournament. A group of thrill seekers who are apparently blind or visually impaired took to the air to try their hands at indoor skydiving in a Barcelona wind tunnel. And in entertainment news now, Ayushmann Khurrana starrer Anik has got a release date. The socio-political drama film is set to release on March 31st next year. The makers of Bunty or Bubbly 2 have released a teaser of the movie. The movie recasts Rani Mukherjee in the lead role. John Abraham starrer Satyamev Jayate 2 will be arriving in theatres a day early. The film has been moved a day up to November 25th. Bollywood actress Parineeti Chopra is celebrating her 33rd birthday today. Celebs and fans took to Instagram to wish her on her birthday. Guardians of the Galaxy actor Alexis Rodney has been roped in to play the lead in the upcoming comedy drama Young Gun. Amazon Prime Video has announced to release Korean dramas True Beauty, Strangers from Hell and Taxi Driver on its platform. Veteran rocker Ozzy Osbourne's romance with his wife will be the subject of an upcoming feature film. The film will be produced by Sony Pictures and Polygon Entertainment. Hit HBO television series Insecure held its final goodbye on Thursday in Los Angeles, Kenneth Hahn Park, as the 5th and final season premiered. Actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun on a movie set in New Mexico, killing cinematographer Haina Hutchins and wounding director Joel Souza, authorities said. The incident occurred on the set of an independent feature film Rust the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. And the British pop brand Duran Duran has released their 15th studio album Future Past, continuing their 40-year-old career. So that's it in this edition of Express News. We will be back tomorrow, same time, with the top 100 news of the day. So until we meet again, you take very good care of yourself. Well, in the times of the festivities, it is very important that we all do not lower our guard and stay protected at all times. Namaskar.